I was going through a storm for a long time, for like years. Like it just felt like the days were just not going, not moving. I needed to go through that. I needed that adversity to figure out who I am. Once you figure out who you are, you feel unstoppable. And I'm just glad that I was able to experience it, even though I didn't want to. I needed it to get that fire back.
He's a professional football player, two-time All-American at Fordham University, all-state honors in high school, and a content creator. MJ, at Fordham, you had an offense that put up some crazy numbers. Break it down for me. How good was that offense on paper?
On paper and in person, it was insane. Just what we would experience in practice and then just do it in the game. Everything just felt surreal. Putting up 300 yards, 200 yards. Something that comes to mind is I remember one game I had 4 catches for 226 yards. That just felt like a fever dream. But that was just the standard of the offense, and it was just so much fun playing with those guys and just experiencing that, and it was just amazing.
Break it down. So for people that don't know, numbers-wise, yourself individually and team-wise,
Mm.
what are some numbers that you guys put up that year?
Shoot, I think my quarterback threw for over 5,000, maybe even more. I don't even know. And we three of our receivers had over 1,000 yards receiving. We were all ranked top 5 in the whole entire country, FBS and FCS, receiving yards. I remember my one teammate, he had 350 yards receiving in one game. That was the all-time leading receiving in a game, I think FCS and FBS. Even on the defense, we had a guy who had 30 plus tackles in one game, freshman All American. It was insane. It was just amazing playing with those guys and just holding that standard with everybody. It was just a blessing.
What are some of the things that allowed you guys to have so much success?
I guess our mindset going into every game, every practice, thinking is it was the last one, last rep mentality, especially in the weight room, on and off the field, which really led to it 100%. And everyone was on the same page. You know, we would hold each other accountable and we'd get on each other, especially if someone's slacking off here, slacking off in the classroom, slacking off on the field, on and off. Like we would just hold each other to that standard. And we knew we wanted to just keep chasing something big, you know, like obviously everyone has high goals, but we all had that same last rep mentality. Guys were older, and we were ready to work, I guess you could say.
So tons of wins along your journey, but I want to talk about some of the challenging things behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You faced more than most people face in a lifetime. You were undersized, under-recruited, you faced injuries, undrafted, getting cut. What's been the hardest part of the journey for you?
The hardest part of the journey, I guess you could say, is sometimes you look at somebody else's journey and you're like, "Oh, why am I not there?" But at the same time, you kind of take away your success and you got to look yourself in the mirror like, "Wait a minute, I'm doing it too." So I guess sometimes I feel like I'm losing where I'm really not. You know what I'm saying? And then I guess that's what in my brain just kind of rewires me to just keep going and keep striving for more. But I guess the hardest part is just waking up every single day and like when you feel like you're not making progress, you are. So it's really just you versus you at the end of the day. And I'm just so grateful to be in this position and have such great supporters. My mom, my dad, had to give them a shout out early on. And it's just, I guess you could say it's more mental than everything. Like my dad always says, it's mind over matter. And once you can conquer your brain, it's whatever is here is kind of shapes your reality. So once you conquer your brain, everything else just falls into place.
And comparison, like you're describing, is something that is growing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
More and more people every single day are getting caught in this comparison trap. So what advice do you have to others dealing with the same comparison trap?
Yeah, just really just focusing on you, putting all yourself into you. I remember when was it during my draft prep training? It was sometimes you see guys getting bigger invite games, and you're like, why am I not getting invited there? Some guys are in the combine, why am I not the combine? But at the same time, you're still in the same position as they are. They just may have a different opportunity that you have, but you still have the same opportunity. And I remember my trainer said, everything is you versus you. Like no one's put in the work, you're putting in the work every single day. And once you kept processing that and keep replaying that, saying you versus you, it really is like no one's putting up that extra rep. No one's going to the field. Like you got to wake up, you got to go up, you got to do that show for yourself, and no one's going to put in the work like you're doing it. So really just saying that and repeating that you versus you a mindset, everything else kind of falls into place.
Yeah, and take us back to that time from when you were dominating at Fordham to, man, I want to play in the NFL, and then things don't work out the way you wanted.
Yeah, yeah. So at first it was a slow start in terms of Fordham and everything. Like I wasn't like freshman year was tough, and then stuff like started to stuff started to kick up going in my senior year, putting up numbers and just getting the recognition that I've always wanted my whole life. And when I started getting the recognition, I was like, "Whoa, wow, this is like real. Like this is my reality now." And I had to check myself every single day, like slowing the process down. I was getting too ahead of myself, and I would have to just focus on the moment, and then everything else. I can't look too far in the future. And when stuff started to kick up after my senior year, getting all those recognitions and going to my draft prep training and having all these, I guess you could say, expectations going into the draft, saying like, oh, I'm ready to get drafted, like I'm ready to get signed, this, that. And I feel like I was looking a little too far in the future. And once I feel like I was kind of trying to control stuff that was out of my control because everything is out of our control. And once you stay in the moment and really just focus on the process, everything really kind of shapes itself. So going into the job process, having those expectations and stuff not going my way, I had to really look at myself in the mirror and knowing like, wait, like, all right, so like, how am I gonna figure this out? Like, I got to figure it out. Having that figure it out mentality. And even though stuff was kind of falling out of places, what I didn't think it was gonna be, I was like, all right, let me step back. Let me step back into who I am and knowing who I am. I guess you could say I've been getting out the mud my whole life in terms of really grinding for what I wanted and chasing these high goals. So when stuff doesn't really work out, you really just have to take that step back and really just focus on the moment in the process. And you got to be where your feet are. Because if you look too far ahead of yourself, you'll just start like spiraling. Your mind, your mindset's all over the place. And when I really got that I'm gonna figure it out mentality, stuff started to fall into place, and I started getting those opportunities. Even though adversity would come, you just have to keep putting your head down. You have to work, and you'd have to know that like you are where you are because of your past work, and you're just creating your future opportunities. And eventually, that opportunity is going to keep coming, and you just got to be ready for it. You know, like they always say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And I'm ready for any opportunity that comes my way, and I'm grateful for the opportunities that have presented themselves as well. So yeah, just putting your head down and work. Like people always say, like when stuff hits, all right, so it's time to go back and grind. It's really just time to focus on the moment, and you'll look back one day and you're like, oh wow, that hard work really paid off. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. I ask this question to a lot of high level athletes. Do you think staying present is the number one key to high performance?
Yes, 100%. Because say people kind of get caught up in social media, looking ahead, saying like, "Why am I not in that position? Why am I not that?" But when you really focus on what's around you, you look around you every single day, from when you wake up to when you put your head down at night. Just really focus on your morning routine, what you eat, that one rep in the gym, that squat rep, that rep in the field. Like the process starts to get fun. You know, you really like people say fall in love with the process. Like that's real. Like you really have to fall in love with the process because once you start getting ahead of yourself, you'll start overthinking to the max. And once you start overthinking, you have no control over what you do every single day. And like getting back to what I said before, that mind over matter mindset, everything really is mind over matter because once you start like there's one thing I said, there's one positive thought can change your whole day. Because once those thoughts, everything is thoughts, you know, like 'cause your reality is all based on your thoughts. And once you start controlling your thoughts, your whole perspective, your whole everything just changes.
Yeah, I geek out on this stuff, and negativity actually activates different parts of your brain, and it actually decreases motor skills and coordination and things like that. So negativity literally shows up in your body. So I agree with you. Positive thoughts is huge. But one
Huge.
thing that you mentioned was overthinking. Obviously, nobody wants to overthink all of the time, but it happens. Everyone does it. So what do you do to get out of the overthinking trap?
Yeah, so I journal every single day. I journal from when I wake up in the morning and when I'm about to go to sleep at night. I got the same journal. One I had in college, it was I forget what it's called, but I think it was called Athlete's Mindset. My strength coach gave it to me. Shout out to Coach Gilfetter. But I switched as I got older. It was this it says you're great. It's your grateful journal. And it says an affirmation at the top. It's like there's a quote. There's a quote from I guess you could say an athlete, an author or something, or it'll give you like an agenda to do. And then it says, write down three things you're grateful for. And the next thing is, what would make today a great day? And the next thing is your affirmation. So I break that down every single day. And then at nighttime, you close out and you says, what did you do that day? Did you get this checked off? Did you do this? And then really just that's where it goes back into staying in the moment. Your thoughts are not all over the place. Your thoughts are in the journal. So whenever you start to overthink, whenever I start to overthink, I grab that journal and whatever comes to my head, I literally write it down. Or in my notes, even on my phone, something that pops up in my head, if I just start freaking out, let me just grab my notes. Let me just write it down real quick. Then I start processing it. And I'm like, okay, wait, I'm good. Why am I freaking out? So it's really just, writing things for me at least, writing things down and getting all of it out, even if you're not talking to somebody, it really just grounds you. So, or grounds me.
Yeah, that's tremendous advice. I
Mm,
agree. Just getting it out of your head and onto paper is therapeutic in and of itself.
yes.
Take us back to that moment. Draft happens. Your name doesn't get called. What were you feeling in that moment?
Yeah, it was I remember I was downstairs. So we had a draft. We almost had like a little draft party in my basement. So let me take you back. There was a lot going into my head, especially because this is another story. So like my uncles, they got signed after the draft, and like I was asking them how the process went, and obviously some of my friends are in the league, and then some of my friends are going through the process. They're in the UFL, this that. So there's a whole my phone's blowing up, So like, oh, did you get this? Like, yo, I just signed here. Like, they just called me this. I'm looking at my phone. I'm going back and forth with my agent. I'm like, all right, so we're talking these teams, this, that. All right, so like why aren't they pulling the trigger? And then you go on Twitter and then you start seeing that people are getting signed, and I'm like, wait, why am I not getting signed? And then some of my friends who are downstairs with me, they're like, yo, you're good, bro. Like you'll be all right. My cousin's like, yo, and then some you look around and you're like, they're like, yo, so like what happens now? So like obviously some of the people that haven't been through the process, they don't know as well. And then you got my parents, they're saying like, yo, you'll be all right, this, that. But in my head, it's just me, like a whole bunch of thoughts going around. I'm going outside walking. My phone was just not ringing, and they're like, "All right." So my agent hits me back later on that day or later on that night, and they're like, we're gonna sorry, like that didn't happen. Like we're gonna keep testing these teams in the next day." So like basically, it was just a waiting game. So I'm just like, all right, like what's going on now? Like, am I? And all these just negative thoughts just start hitting my head. I'm saying like, "Wait, am I not good? Like, did I not the production? Like, what's going on?" Like, everything that I did it just get wiped out the window? And I was like, "Alright, let me take a step back. I know who I am. An opportunity is gonna present itself." And later, a couple days after calls started coming in terms of mini camps and stuff, and I was like, "Alright, I just gotta go out there and ball." But yeah, it was a lot. It was definitely a lot because like you've been waiting for that moment your whole life, and like everyone has that different experience. But then I started to read more stuff on Twitter with different people's stories saying they're sharing their undrafted stories. And I'm like, oh, wait, this is a lot like my story. These people went through the same stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one going through this. Like, why? I guess I had to take out that, like, I had to look outwards, I guess you could say, like, okay, people are going through the same stuff. So, like, once I kind of processed that and I was going to know that, like, God really has a plan for you, like, you just got to trust it. So,
Yeah, and you're the definition of perseverance. You go
yeah.
to mini camps and then the CFL. Take us through that quickly.
Yes. So, it's really just I think my dad always say it's being resilient. It's just I've always had that drive and just I don't take no for an answer. Is that I guess kind of you could say like I don't take that rejection for an answer. Like you always just got to keep fighting and keep going. And like my mom always say like keep going, but like that's real. Like you really have to like that's like it's no like everyone says like yo keep going. But like you really have to wake up every single day and get after it and show up for yourself. It's all uncertainty. And especially coming out of college, like you really know, like, okay, you got summer workouts, you got a game here, you got this. But like once you're out of college and you're straight, like from the draft, like you still like you're still in a space, you're like, all right, like I don't know what's going on. Like it's just all that uncertainty. Like you're like I'm blessed to have these people around me, the support system that trust it as well, and they have the same goals and dreams for me. But at the same time, like it's all that uncertainty. Like you have no idea what's next. So like you really have to put your head down and like you really just have to just stay the course, as people say, and really trust it. So what was it? It was mini camps, and then we were really because I obviously they have OTAs, training camp, you have the 90-man roster, and we were it was just going back and forth with your agent saying like, what are these teams saying? Like, would they bring me back for a call? Am I on their call list? And you see on Twitter that guys are going down. You hit them back up like, oh, like I'm ready to go. Like, see if you hit up that coach of the Giants because a guy got hurt there, and then see if they can get me in for a workout. See if we can do this. So you're going back and forth. They're like, all right, we'll get back to you. So you're just waiting. You're just waiting. And some people are like, oh, do you want to go CFL now? And CFL now get some tape. And I was like, no, I'm gonna wait for that. See if I get signed again for the 90-man show out in training camp. And then I remember I got the CFL call It was a couple months after, and they were like, "They wanna sign you now, but, like, we gotta use that as leverage." And I don't know if you know, in, like, Canada, they have, like, some guys, like, coming out of college, they have your Canadian rights, so, like, say if you choose to play in the CFL, they'll have some guys, they'll put you on your negotiation list. So, I was on BC Lions negotiation list, so they wanted to sign me early on, but I know, and they wanna sign me to a 2-year, I'm pretty sure. But if say once you sign, you're locked in and you can't go back to the States. You couldn't go back to the States. There's like a whole stuff right there. So like we didn't want to do that and so early on, but we had the leverage, which was great. So I was like, okay, I'm straight. Like I'm good. Like I got this opportunity. Like we could fall back on it, and the NFL opportunity didn't come like that year. So BC called back and they were like, "All right, we're gonna sign you." So I'm like, okay, it's ready to go. I'm time to go. Like I've been waiting. Like I'm ready to put back on a show. Like I feel like in my best shape, top shape. Family's happy, like they're ready to go. We're all set on that year in terms of that season. Like we're about to blow up. Like we're about to put stuff on tape. We're gonna ball out in camp. Like this was my mindset going into it. So we get signed early on January. It was January 29th. I got the call like a couple weeks before that, a couple weeks into the new year, and we were all crying and everything. Because and then they're like, "Oh, my son's gonna play professional football, this, that." And it was just wait that call that was always awaited that we didn't get on draft day, but we eventually got it, which I said before, really putting your head down and trusting that process and getting the call. Just that was just so relieving. So we get to camp and it just felt a little off. Like I feel like I didn't get the opportunity that I wanted, I guess you could say. And I was balling. There's some videos I was going crazy in one-on-ones, doing well in seven on, and it was just they were like, obviously, you know how people say like professional football, it is a business. So guys were getting cut every single day. You're like, all right, I gotta ball out this day. I gotta study my plays. In the professional football playbook, that's a different type compared to college football. But I was always good on knowing your X, Y, Z, F, X. Like I know, like that's why I feel like which kind of separates me, which is good. And I knew everything. I knew the game calls. I knew everything. And I remember I got the call one day. They were like, "Oh, MJ, can you bring your playbook in?" And I was like, "Dang, I know what this means. I know what this means because I didn't experience it at the time, but I knew what it means because I remember I was scrolling through TikTok and some guys would make like a little meme or something saying like, "Oh, when you get your playbook call, or when you get your call saying like, oh, you got to bring the playbook in." And I was like, "Oh wow, this is really happening to me right now." And I remember I called my parents and I was like, "Dad, they're cutting me right now." And they were out at a show and they're like, "What? Like what you mean?" And I was like, "They're really cutting me right now. They said like I'm getting cut." And we're like, "What?" Like we're all just trying to process it. I'm like, I'm trying to process it too. I'm in Canada and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. There was just a whole bunch of thoughts going through my head. And they're like, "All right." And my dad was like, "All right, calm down. You'll be all right. Like, see what they say. See if they'll bring you back for a practice squad opportunity. Like, just keep making those connections, but you don't wanna rub those people off the wrong way because of what you're feeling in the moment. Like, even though that's how you feel, but life goes on and you never know in the future, near future, like that call may come back. That coach may go to another team. So you don't want to rub anybody the wrong way. And I'm like, okay, we'll be all right. So getting cut from there, like once I came home, it was just like that next day, that wake up, it was just like, wow, like that really just happened. Like trying to process that and everything. But it was good that I could get away. I got away and I went to Myrtle Beach for a little bit, kind of just to clear my brain and just kind of get my mind off football and just really just live life and just try to process everything. And I feel like what helped me was so I have a YouTube channel where I document everything. So I can look back on what I went through and I'm like, oh wow, I really got through that. Even though in the moment I did not think I got through it. So there was a video on my that I did. It's on my YouTube right now saying like I got cut by a professional football team. And I remember I was basically documenting say, oh wow, it's 3 a.m. in the morning and I'm about to catch a flight in an hour, and then documenting the Myrtle Beach process or when I was in Myrtle Beach, and then coming home and training. And I'm like, oh wow, like this is just those days were felt like some of the longest days of my life. Like every single day was just a grind. Like there was days I was like, oh no, I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing this. And then what really gets me through my days and what really got me through it and just give me that spark. So like my mom and dad, biggest supporters. Never missed a game since I was little. My dad was my first was it AYF Pop Warner coach. Still my coach to this day. But what's kind of funny is so as I got older, which I kind of realized is he lets me process everything, which really helps me grow and everything. He doesn't just say like, or he doesn't try to coach everything up. Like you didn't run that route, you didn't do this. He lets me figure it out, which really helps me grow into the person I am today. Like we don't even talk about football for real, which is kind of crazy. And when we do it, it's serious. Like it's serious. And my mom, like, she's the one who really like she's the one who gets me going and stuff. So every single morning she sends me these words of affirmation and these quotes that really I literally right when I wake up, and it's just stuff to just that really keeps me going. And I see it, and I'm like, all right, it's time to go. Let me attack the day. Let me attack the day. Let me attack the day. And even when I'm not feeling good, like I know I still have to show up for myself, no matter if the call does come or doesn't come, because time is eventually gonna pass, and you're gonna get through that storm. You just got to ride the storm. And I was going through a storm for a long time, and like I don't even know, it felt like years. Like it just felt like the days were just not going, not moving. And the headspace that I'm in now is just knowing that I went through it. I just feel so confident and in myself as I've ever been, like, in my life, in shape, and I'm just glad that I needed to go through that, you know? It was something that, like, I needed that adversity to kinda find out and figure out who I am. Because like, obviously, you wanna once you figure out who you are, you feel unstoppable. Like, I'm at a point where I feel, like, unstoppable and so confident, and I'm just glad that I was able to experience it. Even though I didn't want to, I needed it to get that fire and get that fire back, and definitely feel like how I was feeling. I would say I felt my best my grad year when I was absolutely spazzing and on and off the field, and I feel better than that. So it's really a blessing to. It's I'm grateful for everything that has been thrown my way.
Yeah, there's no doubt that the adversity helps shape us and make us stronger. And I remember seeing
Yeah,
one of your videos when you were in Myrtle Beach saying, there's nothing like eggs and turkey bacon and what else was it? Some
it was
some
it was.
yogurt and a bagel to get your get your mind right for the day.
Yeah, it was just nothing like some what was it, some eggs, some turkey bacon, and then I went to the Y with my dad that day too. I went to the Y in Myrtle Beach, and in my head, I'm like, "Oh, wow, like, this really just happened." But yeah, no, starting off the day right, ending the day
That's
right.
right.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
need that routine. You gotta stick with the
Yeah.
routine.
Yeah. MJ, what do you want other people to take away from your story?
So my doctor said I was gonna be 5'3", right? And that was from that point on, I felt like I had to prove people wrong. But at the end of the day, you have to prove yourself right. Like there's no one else is writing your story. You're the only person who's writing your story. So everything is really about persevering and being resilient to what life throws at you. And whatever life throws at you, you just not you're not accepting it, but you're fighting, and you just got to keep fighting for what you want. Set your goals high, and whatever you put your mind to, like everybody says, like whatever you put your mind to, you can achieve. But like really, whatever you put your mind to, you can do it as long as you put in the work. You have to sacrifice. Like I've been making sacrifices my whole life. Like the right people. Once you get the right people around you, like everything else falls into place. Keep your circle small, and main thing is keep the main thing the main thing. Like my dad always says that. And once you keep the main thing, everything everything in terms of life on off the field, friends, relationships, like it's all amazing. Like just being able to experience it all. So yeah, be resilient, keep the main thing, and keep fighting for what you want.
Love it. MJ, the idea of simple wins is more than just the scoreboard. What does simple wins mean to you?
The little things matter, and every win adds up. Everything's a win. Writing down, waking up in the morning, that's a win. God woke you up in the morning. Writing down in your journal, that's a win. Just every simple win or every small win adds up to a that big win or that breakthrough. I guess that's my perspective. So just keep stacking those wins, keep stacking those simple wins, and you're gonna get to where you wanna get to.
Excellent. MJ, you mentioned your YouTube channel. Where else can people find you?
Yeah, YouTube at 1MJ Wright, TikTok 1MJ.Wright, Twitter 1MJ Wright, and I just started posting heavy on Snapchat. I got the verification on Snapchat, so I'm
Excellent.
trying to monetize on Snapchat. So MJ.W2 on there, and yeah, all my platforms. So shout out to that.
MJ, you got a great mindset, great energy. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you for letting me get on here. Thank you.
I have one final question for you. Who else would benefit from listening to this conversation? If you have someone in mind, go ahead and share the episode with them right now. If you don't think of anyone immediately, go ahead and leave us a review on whatever platform you're on so people just like you can find the episode. Thank you for your time. Stay strong.